Queen Saren slammed her claw onto the pact seal. Holographic light flared across the throne room's broadcast array, beaming the image to every ship and outpost in her fleet. By this union, she declared, voice steady over the empire-wide channel, the Vol Concordance stands down. All squadrons, cease fire. Hold positions. Peace demands it. Cheers erupted from the palace feeds. Skeptical murmurs followed from the front lines. Saren ignored them. She turned to the human beside her, Elias Kerr, her new consort. Tall, unarmored, his plain uniform screamed logistics clerk more than royal spouse. His dark eyes met hers without flinching. The ceremony gong tolled. Attendants draped the bonding mantle over their shoulders. Saren felt its weight settle, a chain disguised as silk. A calm buzzed. Marshal Kethran's face appeared, scaled and scarred. Majesty, the enemy presses the outer rim. Standing down invites slaughter. Peace first, Marshal, Saren snapped. Convene the War Council, now. Bring the consort. She grabbed Elias's arm, firm muscle under synth fabric, and strode from the dais. Guards flanked them through vaulted halls, pulsing with alert klaxons. Whispers chased them. Human pet. Coup bait. The War Council chamber hummed with tension. Hollow maps flickered red across the galactic front. Enemy coalition slicing her supply lanes. Marshal Keth loomed at the head table, his officers arrayed like spears. Spymaster Laura Voss lurked in shadow, eyes dissecting Elias. Saren shoved Elias into the central chair. Consort, you've seen our maps. Propose one fix. By dawn, or this marriage buys nothing. Elias nodded once. No boasts. He pulled up the primary supply overlay. Choked by raids, his fingers danced over the interface, faster than any Vol tactician. Saren watched. He traced routes, eyes narrowing at clusters of her ships. Here, Elias said. Flat voice, 3 honor deployments. Frigates parked at ghost stations for prestige. Pull them. Reassigned to convoy escorts. The map shifted. Red choke points turned green. Escorts flooded the lanes. Marshal Keth's scales bristled. Honor deployments? They guard sacred markers. Cancel them, and our ancestors' shades wail. Justify this human. Elias leaned back. No justification needed. Supplies win wars. Ghosts don't eat rations or fire guns. Those frigates escort 12 convoys now. Enemy raiders starve. Keth slammed a fist. The table shook. You mock tradition. Those markers honor the fallen. Pull them, and morale collapses. Officers muttered. Agreement. Laura Voss tilted her head. Silent probe in her gaze. Sarian raised a claw. Silence fell. Enough. Live vote. Officers, signal now. Affirm or deny the consort's fix. Hollow votes lit up. Green ticked higher. Keth's face darkened as his loyalists folded. Final tally. 68% affirm. Done, Saren said. Marshal, execute by hour's end. Spymaster, verify enemy response. Keth bowed stiffly. As commanded, Majesty. His glare bored into Elias. Laura slipped closer to the human. Intriguing. I'll shadow the convoys personally. Elias shrugged. Beta's yours. Saren dismissed the council. Alarm still wailed outside. Assassins prowled, courtiers who saw the human as a blade at her throat. Dawn loomed in 4 hours. She gripped Elias's elbow again. With me. Guards snapped to attention as she marched into the royal suite. Blast doors hissed open. Inside, armored walls, sensor webs, her private armory. No windows. One bed alcove, veiled for decorum. Elias scanned the room. Cozy. Saren punched the lockdown sequence. Doors sealed with a thud. Stay here. Spies report 3 hits on you already. Court Vipers test my resolve. He crossed to the console, pulling fresh feeds. Convoy icon stabilized already. First escorts linking up. You're calm, she said. Forced proximity chafed. His scent, sweat and machine oil, invaded her space. Logistics trains the mind. Elias tapped a projection. See? Enemy probe failed. Your frigates arrived in time. Saren's crest flared. A raid icon winked out, minutes after his change. Impossible luck? No. Precision. She paced. Trust him? The court watched for weakness. Keth plotted counters. Vec Talon's coalition still hammered the core worlds. One fix wouldn't end the war. Yet convoys flowed freer. Officers' votes had bent to data, not dogma. Elias glanced up. Dawn's soon. Your fix? She halted. His eyes held no demand, just readiness. A ping, Lura's whisper feed. Consort's frigates shredded a raider wing. Supplies inbound. Keth fumes. Saren's claws flexed. The human reshaped her front before their bonding ink dried. Coup risk or salvation. She barred the inner door herself. Sleep if you can. Dawn brings the real test. Elias nodded, resuming his maps. Saren retreated to her alcove, pulse racing. Peace pact signed, war already tilting. But whose hand guided the shift? Queen Saren flung open the throne hall doors. Elias matched her stride, his human boots echoing on polished stone. Nobles twisted in their seats, crests flaring. Whispers hissed like steam vents. Behold your queen's consort, Saren declared. She gripped Elias's arm, parading him past the front row. Elias Care, bound to me by treaty ink. Object now, on record. Let the archives burn your names. Its silence crushed the air. Lord Varen's claws scraped his armrest. He rose halfway, then sank back. No one spoke. Sarian's lips curled. They tested her steel, not his decoration. She mounted the dais. Elias stood beside her throne, hands clasped behind his back. Marshal Kethron stepped forward, his uniform stiff with medals. Majesty, the victory brief awaits. Core world defenses hold. Casualties minimal. Elias leaned to the podium console. His fingers danced over keys. Send raw logs. Casualties. Fuel burn. Convoy manifests. No summaries. Keth's crest flattened. The curated brief suffices, consort. Tradition. Reject it. Elias's voice cut flat. Projections bloomed. Jagged lines of losses. Fuel drains spiking red. Gasps rippled through the hall. Saren's pulse quickened. Those numbers lied. Her frigates bled dry. See? Elias tapped a cluster. Enemy probes hit here because escorts lagged. Fuel logs show why. Inefficient routing. Nobles shifted. Spymaster Lura Voss glided from shadows, her eyes locked on Elias. She slipped a data chit into his display slot during the murmur. Saren caught the flicker. A loyalty trap, coded to flag divided allegiances. Elias scanned it. His brow furrowed once. Then he straightened. Auditors, enter. He keyed open his workspace feed. Royal clerks flooded in, tablets ready. Cross-check these against Laura's chit. Public ledger. Laura froze mid-step. Her tail lashed once. Saren suppressed a hiss. Clever. He turned her probe into transparency. Keth growled. This human meddles in command. Saren rose. He sees what you curate away. She sealed her signet ring to the console. Consort Kerr issues binding logistics orders under my authority. 72 hours. Convoys reroute now. Obey or join the logs. Projections shifted live. Elias's overlays snapped into place. Escorts leaping ahead. Fuel optimized. Nobles muttered approval. Keth stormed out, robes swirling. The hall emptied for the treaty feast. Saren led Elias to the grand table, crystal goblets gleaming under glow orbs. Allied envoys bowed low. Vec Talon's hologram flickered at the head. Enemy admiral, truce-bound but smirking. Peace tastes sweet, Vec rumbled. Servants poured shimmering wine. Saren lifted her glass. Elias mirrored her, scent of machine oil cutting the floral haze. Proximity burned. His shoulder brushed hers. Trust gnawed deeper. A servant approached Elias. Tray extended. Poison shimmered in the liquid. Scent masked by spice. Saren's crest spiked. She snatched the glass midair, claws shattering crystal. Venom sprayed across the tablecloth. You! She seized the servant's collar, dragging him forward. He thrashed, scales paling. Envoys recoiled. Vec's hologram sharpened. Treachery at feast? Confess. Saren slammed him to the floor before all. Whose coin? The servant choked. Lord Varen's. He said. Human taints the bloodline. Gasps erupted. Saren hauled him to his feet, parading the wretch past nobles. Hear it. Varen's viper strikes my consort. She thrust him at guards. Public square. Dawn execution. Varen bolted from his seat. Guards pinned him. Laura materialized, cuffing data links to his wrists. Logs confirm. 3 prior hits. Elias stood unmoved, wiping venom from his sleeve. Feast continues. Data flows. Saren released a breath. Her court purged one viper. Convoy stabilized. First reports pinged. Raiders scattered. Supplies docking clean. Elias's normal carved her front anew. Vex hologram laughed. Your pet human amuses, but core worlds crack next. She met Elias's gaze. Calm eyes, ready. Trust him fully? Court eyes bored in. Keth's absence loomed. Laura watched closer now. Partner not foe. Saren raised a fresh glass. Two reshaping wars. Ink dried, but his hand guided the tilt. Vex fleets massed. Dawn's purge barely began. What coup brewed in the shadows? Saren's claws clicked across the carrier's command deck as alarms blared. Elias hunched over the central holotable, fingers flying across the interface. Officers scattered at her approach, tails flicking in deference. Consort, she said, voice cutting through the din. Status. He didn't look up. Convoys pinned.
Vex Raiders inbound, 5 minutes. Comms flood's killing us.
She leaned in, scales brushing his arm. The contact sent a ripple through her, unbidden, electric. Focus. Keth's screening formation deploys now? Elias tapped override key. BattleNet consolidated in a single pulse. Chatter died. Voices sharpened to essentials. Confirmed. A lieutenant barked. All channels routed. Saren's frills flared. Her entire fleet ran on layered protocols. Redundancy against jamming. He slashed it to one net. Simple. Exposed. Brilliant. Keth stormed onto the deck, crest rigid.
Human!
Restore full comms. Tradition holds. No time.
Elias pulled up convoy schematics. Red icons swarmed a debris-choked corridor.
Vec expects the standard run. We give him decoys. He plotted supply pods, empty hulls, beacon lit. Real convoys he vectored into the impossible debris field. Twisted wreckage from last month's route, too dense for scans. Keth snarled.
Debris corridor?
Ships shred there. My screens launch now. Full formation, layered pickets. Elias met the marshal's glare. Your screens telegraph, staggered escorts instead. Half now, half shadow. Draw him in. Saren watched Keth's mandibles work. Tradition bound him. Grand fleets. Symmetric blocks. Elias treated war like logistics. Flows, bottlenecks, reroutes. Override granted, she said. Keth's eyes snapped to her. She held his stare. Trust the human, or lose the front. Keth barked orders but staggered. Escorts peeled off in waves, vanishing into sensor ghosts. Vex struck first. Enemy torpedoes lit the net. Hundreds, slamming decoy pods. Explosions bloomed, empty hulls vaporizing in false glory. Direct hit, Vex intercepted taunt crowed. Your supplies burn, Queen. Saren's claws dug into the holotable edge. Real convoys ghosted through debris, unscathed. Elias's normal, supply tricks from human wars, turned doom to trap. Laura slipped beside her, datapad glowing. Vec burned 30% munitions. Tender exposed. Saren nodded. Spymaster's probes had shifted. Now alliance, not suspicion. Raid it. Now. She keyed the order. Her raiders, sleek Vol strikers, launched from staggered escorts. They knifed toward Vec's munitions tender, a bloated beast trailing his line. Enemy line stalled. Vec's formation fractured. Ships milling as tenders flashed warnings. Keth grunted approval, despite himself. Torpedoes dry. He pulls back. Elias adjusted vectors. Convoys docked clean at forward bases. Front held. Saren's gaze lingered on him. Sweat beaded his brow, but his hands stayed steady. No boasts, just results. Deck shuddered. Incoming fire grazed the carrier. Vec adapted. Flankers, Elias said. Reroute second convoy through the notch. She seized the controls herself, authorizing. Their hands brushed again. Heat flared in her veins. Forced marriage, yes. But this proximity forged something sharper. Raiders struck true. Vec's tender erupted, secondary blasts rippling his fleet. Enemy admirals' curses flooded the net. Saren straightened. Court whispers faded. Vec cracked first. Vec, but Keth watched Elias too closely. Laura's pad hummed with new logs. One reroute reshaped the front. What shadows hid in Vec's retreat? Laura's datapad chimed urgent red. Majesty. Intercept leak. Vec anticipated our notch maneuver. Source. Court channels. Saren's claws tightened on her command rail. Bridge crew froze mid-reroute. Vec's retreat masked deeper rot. Her own house betrayed her. Elias wiped sweat from his brow, eyes still on the threat display. Emergency Protocol Theta, Saren snapped. Consort Kerr confined to flagship. No shuttles, no comms off deck. Seal all bays. Klaxons wailed, bulkheads hissed shut. Elias turned from the holoboard, brow furrowed. Queen Saren. Non-negotiable. She met his gaze. Human eyes, steady despite the cage. Your normal saved the front. Now it paints a target. Marshal Keth stepped forward, crest flaring.
I'll escort him to secure quarters. Human intuition invites risks.
No. Saren blocked his path with an outstretched arm. He stays on bridge, under my watch. Keth's mandibles clicked. Majesty, tradition. Tradition bleeds us dry. She waved Laura closer. Spymaster. Full intercepts to the consort, now. Elias straightened. All of them? Court logs too? Laura hesitated, frills twitching. Saren nodded sharp. He sees what I see. Datapads linked. Elias pulled a spare holoboard from the rack. His fingers flew. Nodes bloomed across the display. Red threads snaked from Vex fleet to shadowed court icons. Green lines traced supply reroutes, now laced with breach points. Bridge crew leaned in. Keth grunted. What sorcery? Not sorcery. Elias tapped a pulsing node. Your leaks cluster here. 3 nobles, synced to Vex probes. Timeline. They fed him convoy data 40 cycles ago. Next push, crown challenge post-victory. Saren's blood chilled. Her own allies plotting mid-war. Elias's board laid it bare. Simple logistics, human style, patterns she missed in Vol ritual fog. Laura's eyes widened. He's right. Vosnet confirms. Keth snarled. Isolate him. This human reads too much. Saren stepped between them. I am his security authority. Marshal, stand down. Keth's crest deflated, but his glare lingered. Elias ignored him, zooming the board. Bait them. Leak a false retreat vector. Draw Vec in. Expose the traitors when they bite. Risky. Brilliant. Saren's pulse raced. Elias's calm dissected her court like enemy tenders. Permission? He looked to her, hands open. No demand. Just request. She waited. Coup shadows lengthened daily. Vex coalition hammered borders. One human system's thinking held the line, now pierced her throne room. Come. She led him to her ready alcove, away from ears. Laura flanked, datapad humming. Keth watched from the bridge rim. Alarms quieted. Crew bustled reroutes. Saren faced Elias. Bulkhead vents hummed cool air. His scent, sweat, machine oil filled the space. Forced marriage, yes. But proximity honed trust like a blade. Your board shows the timeline. She tapped her console. Noble sigils flickered. Lord Vren, Lady Thal, Duke Orr. They move in 12 cycles. Petition the assembly for my abdication, citing war failures. Elias nodded. Vex their hammer. Bait pulls both. And if it fails, her voice stayed steel. You lose a consort. I lose a war. He shrugged. Human casual. But your raiders hit tenders clean. We adapt. Laura slipped in. Intercept spike. Vren queries Vec's next thrust. Saren's decision locked. She unclasped her crown signet, a crystal talon etched with Val sovereignty. It gleamed in her palm, heavy with 5 centuries of rule. Run the trap. She pressed it into his hand, his fingers closed warm around it. In my name. Authorize leaks, raids, arrests. Full proxy. Elias's eyes widened fractionally. He pocketed the signet. Understood. She turned back to the bridge. Crew snapped to stations. Elias returned to the holoboard, fingers dancing. False vectors bloomed, lures to Vex maw. Keth approached her. You gave him the signet? He commands now? In my name. Saren watched Elias weave the web. Laura fed fresh intercepts. Human efficiency reshaped her spies into scalpels. Deck trembled. Scout reports pinged. Vec bit early. Trader pings lit red. But as Elias keyed the first leak, Saren's gut twisted. The signet bound her throne to his hand. One broadcast, and courts across the spiral hailed Consort Kerr as proxy queen. Coup or not, she armed her rival. With trust, Vec's fleet surged. Elias smiled faint. They're in. Her claws dug the rail. Throne-sized weapon indeed, and she'd forged it herself. Saren's claws slammed the council days. Hollow screens flickered to life around the vaulted chamber. Emergency session, now. Counselors jolted upright. Marshal Cathron's frills flared in protest. Spymaster Laura Voss leaned forward, eyes sharp. Elias stood at her right, signet glinting on his collar. The human consort's face stayed blank, hands clasped behind his back. Consort Kerr speaks first. Sarian's voice cut the murmurs. Gasps rippled. Keth's mandibles clicked. My queen, silence. She locked eyes with the marshal. Trust flickered in her chest, unbidden. Elias had just unraveled Beck's thrust with leaked vectors and drone raids. Her fleets held the line. Now falsified reports from home threatened it all. Elias stepped forward. His boots echoed on the polished stone. Fleet readiness reports are lies. He tapped the central holoboard. Red overlays bloomed across supply manifests. Tender stocks at 42% actual, not 89%. Ammo depots dry. Signed off by Captains Vore and Lix, Admiral Thorne's aides. Names hung in the air. Counselors shifted. Keth's claws scraped his armrest. Proof. Human? Elias swiped. Audit logs scrolled. Timestamps irrefutable. Chain of command test embedded yesterday. Loyal officers reported true figures to my proxy node. These 3 pinged false. He highlighted Keth's own deputy, including yours, Marshal. Keth surged to his feet. Insolence. You hack our... Alarm shrieked. Red strobes bathed the chamber. Palace locked down. Intruders in transit spine. The voice grated from overhead vents. Sarian's heart spiked. Coup loyalists. Thorne's network, striking now. Security to me! Bulkhead sirens wailed. The chamber doors sealed with a hydraulic hiss. Counselors panicked, claws flashing. Laura drew her sting pistol. Keth barked into his comm. Gunfire cracked from the corridor feed. Armored figures. Formed black ops. Stormed the spine toward the dais lifts. For the true vow! Their leader roared. Saren gripped her throne rail. They aimed for her. Elias moved first. He yanked a wall panel, exposing a security nexus. Fingers flew over the tactile grid. Drones, rerouting. Bulkhead sealing sectors 7 through 12. Drones whirred from sealing slots. Saren watched the feeds. 12 hostiles pinned mid-spine. Laser fire chewing plasteel walls. Elias cross-linked the grid. Security teams, hold flanks, trap closing. A bulkhead slammed down, bisecting the coup team. Screams cut short as drones swarmed the forward group, stingers deploying. The rear squad spun, trapped in a dead-end corridor. Panic lit their faces on the hollow. Keth stared, mandibles slack. How? Palace AI locks to Queen's voice only. Backdoor protocols. Elias didn't look up. Logistics override. Standard on human stations. Reroute assets under fire. He keyed the final seal. Drones cuffed the survivors, dragging them limp. Laura's pistol lowered. Clean. No casualties. The chamber doors hissed open. Security flooded in, hauling the pinned traitors. Saren rose. Her tail lashed once. Arrest Captains Vore, Lix, and Deputy Wren. Full tribunal. Marshal Keth. Your deputy signed the falsifies. Execute the chain. Keth bowed stiff. As you command. But his eyes lingered on Elias, calculating. Saren turned to the loyal officers on feet, 3 captains who had pinged true data. You followed the test. Promotions. Fleet command. Effective now. Report to the yards. Cheers erupted from the hololinks. The captains saluted. Frills high. Elias stepped back, wiping sweat from his brow. No boast, just a nod to her. Saren's claws itched to touch his arm. The signet weighed heavier now. He'd hijacked her palace like a starship deck. Efficient. Brutal. Human. Laura sidled close. Intercepts confirm. Thorne's fleet pulls back. Your consort's leaks worked. Beck's coalition fractures. Keth grunted. Luck. Humans improvise. We plan. Saren ignored him. Elias met her gaze. Warmth there, beneath the calm. Trust forged in fire, but whispers stirred. Counselors eyeing the human. Proxy queen, one muttered. She dismissed the council with a slash of her claw. Chambers, emptied. Elias lingered. Reports clean now? Saren nodded. Yours exposed them. She clasped his wrist, scales to skin. Heat bloomed. You saved my throne. Team effort. His thumb brushed her scales. Your authority. Footsteps echoed outside. Laura returned, data slate in hand. One traitor lives. Says Thorne's at the outer docks, rallying exiles for a broadcast coup. Saren's spines rose. Born alive. Her rival Admiral Vex puppet poised to claim her crown. Elias's grip tightened. Docs, schematics? Laura slid the slate over. Serene watched him scan. The palace felt smaller. Coup crushed, but the war, and her marriage, teetered on his next move. Elias's fingers flew across the data slate. Thorne's broadcast coup launches in 2 hours. We spike his signal with this. He patched in fleet comms. Saren leaned forward, spines rigid. Her claws gripped the throne arm. The human's eyes locked on hers, calm, unyielding. Go wide, she said. Vex coalition first. Surrender offer. Hide the ultimatum in the static. Laura's tail flicked. Risky majesty. Vex smells weakness, he charges. Keth crossed his arms. Humans bluff. Let me lead the intercept. Elias ignored them. He keyed the channel. His voice filled the chamber, and every allied bridge. Admiral Vectalon, this is Elias Kerr, consort to Queen Saren Val. Her Majesty offers full surrender of the inner core systems. Ceasefire at these coordinates. A hollow map bloomed. False lines marked demilitarized zones, buried in the metadata. Timestamps for mine deployment, pursuit vectors. A kill box disguised as retreat paths. Saren's breath caught. The ultimatums pulsed invisible, traps keyed to Vex's predictable rage. Elias had mapped it overnight. Human, logistics. Her court's finest took weeks. Vex's reply crackled instant. Surrender? Your queen grovels like vermin. My coalition claims the core in one pass. Transmit your groveling formally, human pet. Laura's eyes widened. Pride response. Exactly as he predicted. Elias smirked faintly. No gloat. Faint launches in 90 minutes. Narrow window. Our scouts bait his vanguard into the outer drift. He pursues. Reserves hit the flank. Saren studied the projection. Vex's fleet massed at the hyperlane choke. Her lines crumbled there daily. Traditional volleys favored his brutes, but Elias layered it. Drone swarms to scatter sensors. Mass drivers pre-sighted on asteroids no one claimed. Yesterday's ghost map. Keth snarled. Faint? We hold the line. Reserves stay defensive.
No.
Saren rose. Her voice cut the air. Commit the 2nd and 5th fleets. Elias's timing. Full stake. Silence hit like vacuum. Keth's mandibles clicked. Laura froze mid-note. Council whispers from the antechamber spiked. Human dictates. She yields the throne. Saren slashed a claw. Objection logged. Execute. Elias nodded once. Scouts away. Desynced the reserves. Her admirals jumped to orders. No debate. Human rhythm infected them. Alarms blared 2 hours later. Saren's command deck thrummed. Hollow feeds split. Thorne's coup signal fizzled under Elias's jammer. Docks secured by Laura's shadows. Minor win. The real storm brewed at the front. Contact, Elias said. Vex vanguard dives. Pride bait taken. Saren watched Vex beasts charge. Massive hulls. Plasma lances primed. Her scouts peeled off precise, faint perfection. Beck howled over open comms. Pursue! Crush the runners! Keth gripped his console. Overextend. Confirmed. But his mains hold fire discipline. Not for long. Elias adjusted vectors. Mine's hot in 30. Drivers sync to pursuit arc. Pursuit bloomed. Vex lead squadrons knifed into the drift. Sensors blanked under drone fog. Then, detonations. Mines chained blooms of debris. Long-range drivers, hidden on Saren's fringe rocks, hammered silent. No warning shots, just kinetic hell. Vex formation shredded. Cruisers buckled mid-thrust. Escape pods jettisoned wild. His flag roared evasion, but reserves poured in. Saren's fleets clamped the kill zone. Mass drivers reloaded. Cycle repeat. Losses? She demanded. Laura tallied. Vec down 40%. Coalition fracturing. Keth exhaled slow, impossible precision. Human timing. Elias tapped mute. Ceasefire corridor, north vector. Let survivors limp. Watch the comms. Saren signaled ascent. Open the lane. Mercy terms broadcast. Vex channel erupted. Not surrender. Defection. Captain Jeer to allies. Vex mad. Joining Saren's accord. Third wing follows. Human consort's map saved us waste. More piled on. 8 captains. 10. Vex bellow drowned in static. Traitors!
Fire on them.
His loyalists wheeled clumsy. Saren's gunners picked them apart. Beck's flagship listed, engines cold. Lura grinned fangs. Coalition splinters. Front holds. Expands. Saren turned to Elias. His shoulders eased, sweat beading on human skin. She stepped close. Claws brushed his sleeve. Heat flared where scales met fabric. Trust solidified, but council eyes burned from the feed links. Proxy. They hissed again. Elias met her gaze. Vec rallies remnants at the nebula. Next broadcast. Her spines tingled. Thorn crushed. Vec broken. Yet her throne balanced on his next word. Whispers grew. What if they struck now? Saren gripped the enemy delegate's arm scales and yanked him through the neutral station's airlock. His robes flapped. 2 more coalition envoys stumbled behind, flanked by her guards. The corridor hummed with recycled air. She shoved open the negotiation chamber doors. Hollow thrones glowed at the chamber's heart. She claimed hers and dragged a second chair beside it. For Elias, he followed silent, uniform crisp despite battle grime. His eyes scanned the room. Sensor sweeps, guard posts, exit vents. Saren noted it. Human habits, efficient. The delegates straightened. Lead envoy, a scarred vrak named Jorik, bared teeth. Queen Saren, your consort's nebula trap broke Admiral Vec. We come under truce flag. Saren sat. Elias dropped into the chair beside her throne. Close enough her tail brushed his boot. She ignored the spark. Truce demands, speak. Jorik's gaze flicked to Elias. Prisoner return. All ranks. Full lanes reopened. Elias leaned forward, his voice cut flat. Prisoners, yes, but lanes demilitarized. North-south vectors clear. Our inspectors board every coalition hauler at choke points. No exceptions. Jorik hissed. Inspection rights? You dictate terms like victors own the stars. We do. Elias tapped his datapad. Holomaps bloomed. Vex routed fleets, defector signatures piling. Your admiral's down 52%. 8 captains flipped. Sign, or we push the nebula. Saren watched Jorik's spines flatten. Elias bartered like he inventoried crates. No bluster, just math. Marshal Keth stormed in from the side hatch. His armor clanked. Consort. Those terms bleed us dry. Demilitarized lanes invite ambush. Inspectors die first raid. Saren raised a claw. Keth froze. She pulled up the battle logs. Holo replays spun. Elias's timed volley shredding Vec's line. Reserves funneled to slaughter. Record stands, Marshal. Human precision held the front. Expanded it. We overrule. Keth's mandibles clicked fury. He glared at Elias. Luck. Human tricks fade. Elias met his stare. No flinch. Test it. Next push, your call. Saren silenced them both. Sign. Jorik. Or Vec's remnants burn alone. The envoys huddled. Whispers hissed. Jorik extended a claw pad. Terms locked. Prisoners swapped at dawn. Lanes stripped bare. Inspectors embedded. Saren scrawled her mark. The hollow seal flashed green. She stood. Chamber feeds broadcast live to her worlds and theirs. By this accord, the war pauses. Elias Kerr, human of Earth Accord, I name war consort. Authority limited. Frontier Command. Audited weekly by Marshal Keth and Spymaster Lura. Outcomes first. Gasps rippled from linked councils. Keth's face darkened. Lura, shadowed in the back, nodded once. Fangs hidden. Elias rose. His hand brushed hers under the table. Steady. No power grab in his eyes. Jorik bowed out. Guards herded them. Saren turned to Elias. You walk with me. She led him down the station's spine corridor. Private quarters sealed behind them. No feeds. Her claws clicked on deck plates. His boots thudded soft. Door hissed shut. Saren spun. War ends here. But the frontier shatters. Vex raids gutted 3 sectors. Supply lines collapsed. Allies fracture. Whispers call you proxy king. Elias unclipped his collar. Sweat gleamed on his neck. Not king. Fix the lines. Priorities. Food depots first, then munitions relays. Route through the old choke points. Inspectors cover them now. She paced. His calm grated and drew her. Court's plot.
Keth tests you. Laura digs for weaknesses.
He pulled a star chart. Fingers traced ghost paths. Let them. I ship crates.
You rule. Rebuild starts with 1 lane.
Saren stepped close. His scent, salt machine oil, filled her vents. Claws grazed his jaw. He didn't pull back. Heat coiled in her core. Trust, forged in fire. But fragile. Alarms blared. Laura's voice patched through. Majesty. Vex remnants hit the frontier depot. Shuttles burning. Saren's spines flared. Elias already moved. Chart in hand. Vectors locked. Send Keth's reserves. My route. She nodded. The human chased outcomes. Not crowns. Yet her throne teetered if he fell. Keth's challenge echoed in her calm. Consort's plan again? It reeks of coup. Saren muted him. Elias plotted. Her tail curled near his leg. What if they struck first? Not Vec, but her own.